in general, they're going to be synonymous for executing a program from the command line. So there's programs, processes, and threads. A program really doesn't tell you anything about like the detail to which you're going to run something. Like it could be a shell script, which is going to start a bunch of different processes or other things. But a process is something particular to the operating system. So program is more of a user concept, not an operating system concept.
Okay.
So a program is just, I've created a program of something. A process is something defined by by the operating system. And then within a process, you could have potentially multiple threads. So that's a service that's provided to different processes through the operating system.
Process is duplicating, a thread that duplicates the process, or you're saying a
thread works within a process. So a process is kind of an overarching thing managed by the operating system. So if I
can picture this.
type in top. Top gives me a list of the running processes. These are not threads necessarily, right? So within a process, which has a bunch of different things, one of the things it has is a process ID. So process ID allows me to talk about the process to the operating system. So for instance, I can hit K to kill, and I type in the process ID, and that will ask the kernel to kill that process and all the associated threads with that process. There are parent processes and child processes. The parent of all of them is process number 1. In this Debian distribution, that is process number 1 is this utility called systemd, the system daemon. It used to traditional in Linux. It was a process called init. System 5, it was sys5 init, but it was just this process called init. But it's that first program that the kernel starts in user land. And then it invokes as children all of the other processes. So systemd is kind of the one master today. So it's the parent. So it's the parent for all the other children. You can have sub children of processes, but that is kind of what you traditionally think of as like just a program running.
So top is a process or a program?
Which one is?
Top.
Process.
So
program
So I do Control C to quit.
Control C quits the process running actively in that terminal session. It requires an interactive terminal for Control C to kill a process. It produces a kill signal. So it's just like if I type kill-15, Control C is what they call SIGINT. These are, you'll learn kill and kill-9. Kill-9 is something you can't do with Control C. If a process won't die with Control C and I keep hitting Control C and it just won't stop. In fact, you just in the program you can tell it to disable the signal. Ignore Control C and it will.
Okay.
So top is running now, right? And you see top itself has a process ID. Say I want to kill top and I've disabled the Control C interrupt. I can run another top, or better yet, PS. I don't remember what AUWX are, but it's just the ones I keep using. grep is a really, really handy tool to search for strings. So these are my running versions of top. Hey, the process ID for top is 1360. Kill, I can specify a signal. By default it's 15, which is the same as Control C. I'm going to leave that off. I'm just type 1960. Okay, make sure. Yep, it's still running over here. It's still updating the screen. Oh look, it died.
You killed it.
I asked the operating system to kill process ID that. Threads don't have process IDs. So there are this concept called threads, which are invoked within a process. Most of your programs will just be single-threaded processes. That's the vast majority. By default, librobot control starts other threads. So when you write a program with a librobot control, there's a good chance it will start other processes. I mean, other threads.
Currently, we have 3 threads running on Scuttle. One for driving, speaking.
Threads are processes. You're starting a separate program of Python.
We're talking about
processes.
multi-threading in Python, which probably can do
Multi-threading in Python is still threads. They're not necessarily processes. You have the ability within Python to utilize operating system threads.
Well, I'm not sure if we're.
Or you can start 2 Python applications.
I believe with. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're synonymous. Truly, the one that what we're doing and what you're referring to now.
One of my quick examples of Python where I have multiple threads within a Python program. So a thread in Python looks like
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You define a class with a threading class, and then you say thread start.
Okay. That's what we did.
That is a thread, not a process.
Right.
That will not have a process ID. You cannot kill that thread separate from the rest.
Still the program.
You just killed the whole process. What a question! Oh, we were doing the RC examples. That's what we were doing. So calibrate accelerometer. What?
RC calibrating cell.
He told me it's true.
Not still enough. Really?
Well, I don't think you're supposed to hold it at all. You're supposed to just let it.
Well, I had it initially just sitting on the table. The gravitational forces in this room are too powerful.
And moving. Alright, change it right here. RC_calibrate Excel. Go. Press any key. Go. Oh,
That is interesting.
Yeah, I got it here.
Orient X point
Scale out of bounds.
Oh. You might have messed it up. Yes.
It might take some time.
Shit.
That was fine, close enough.
Don't do that. Press any key to save the accelerometer.
It's like, substitute what you're supposed to roll in.
So
Orient X point.
I'm gonna have to ask James about that one personally. I don't know why it's sitting on the table. It wouldn't be able to calibrate.
Well, I calibrated mine in the past. That wasn't the problem. I got further than you.
There you go.
Okay, X pointed down.
Oh,
I increased it.
Probably should do a video.
well, quick regardless, it should.
I mean, I finished. Like, I'm there on the floor.
X pointed
And
out.
that's when X pointed was like this. Like, even if it's just on the table, it was really sensitive.
X pointed down. guys all calibrating?
Attempting to.
Yeah, ours is kind of like
How do you know it's calibrated?
because it said it was dead calibrated.
If we're looking at the values and for
Wait, so did you follow these steps
Yep.
on these axes?
no, we didn't read it, we just hit enter and somehow calibrated it. We're not sure how.
What we did for last.
It was working before though, so.
Why pointed down?
I just said that these.
Oh, it freaked out when I
Yeah,
did
it's
work
working.
down. Okay, success.
Bad axis is
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, so now, but I'm just gonna run it, it's successful. Test
Sure.
FU, 9.79, okay. And 9.8, that's good.
X. Why is that? I can't see it on.
Geez, up and down.
So, but should, okay.
So the source files for all of these RC examples, by the way, is an opt source lib robot control. There's example source, and these are the source files for all of those different example applications. So you can actually look at the
Under, what's the top folder?
opt/opt source lib robot control.
Wait, I don't see that. Did you have to?
I had to symlink it. We did that earlier.
I didn't have mine booted.
It's just
The line.
opt source lib robot control.
If you want to have spell it, space dash S. Link this here.
Put that note in there.
Space dash S.
I don't go in the right directory anymore.
Yeah, so it's slow.
Your clippings are right.
What's wrong?
Okay.
So LN dash S and slash shop.
Slash right.
Opt.
Nope, never mind.
Now that's in here.
That's the one.
Source. And then.
I put it in the notes, by the way. The command.
I've got it in the tree.
Another one that we know should work is RC test LEDs. Doesn't mess with the Wi-Fi LED. The left mine blinking. One that should work with everybody's is also BMP. So I guess we're 78 meters above sea level here. If I go up one, let's see if I can get to go to 79. There we go, 79. Almost 78 and a half. It thinks that was about half a meter. It was probably a little more. But
You didn't finish your
I press tab and it won't do it. RC underscore tab.
Yeah, double tap.
Tab.
One more. That should know where you can do. Now you don't have to.
the ones I want to get to are the motors and encoders. Alright, so
And a lot of motor stuff.
How does it calculate that?
how does it calculate the
I think it's the internal temperature.
air pressure?
Air pressure,
Yeah.
But it doesn't, it's not, I'm not sure that it knows anything about absolute. So like,
Right.
it'll maybe make an accurate delta.
Right. But
But-
it's gonna have to make an assumption how well it was calibrated in manufacturing for
Oh.
sea level pressure.
The weather changes by.
It does
like
it does
100
have a
feet.
humidity sensor
No, but, so your barometric pressure.
and temperature.
I did a little study on this, I'll share it.
It's not I thought for base altimeter you just need temperature and humidity.
I don't think you even need a minute.
You don't need humidity?
It might help with a specific sensor, but you also need to give it you have to tell it where it is when you start it up, because the weather changes, still that appears to be an altitude. So like people that wear their little watches and they climb a mountain, they say, I'm starting at this level, and they start climbing.
Okay. I'm gonna, so most of, let's do test ADC. This one's handy. Currently I have neither the DC jack nor the battery plugged in, so it'll actually tell me the DC jack and the battery values. The DC jack supports anywhere between 9 and 18 volts. We wrote 12 volts on there just to kind of encourage you.